In this video, I'm going to react to the history behind the Ovechkin and Crosby rivalry. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now this should be fun. Like Ovechkin and Crosby, so Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby are probably two of the best players to ever play in the NHL. Even as someone who's relatively new to the sport, the legacies that they've created are just huge. I believe Ovechkin is either second or third on the all-time points record. Sidney Crosby is probably not too far behind. You know, they're both icons for their teams. And I didn't really know that the rivalry between them was quite fierce. And this video here was recommended to me, and I'm sure it's going to take, you know, a long look at it, the history behind it, and where it is today. So let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the history behind the rivalry between Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. Let's do it.
Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. Two first ballot Hall of Famers, the faces of their franchises, and for 15 years now, the faces of the NHL. Crosby has an argument.
Wow, the faces of the NHL. What about Kane? Surely he's up there with these two.
For best all-around player ever, and Ovechkin, quite likely the best goal scorer ever. Wow. After meeting for the first time in the 2005 World Junior Championship gold medal final, won by Crosby and Team Canada, they entered the NHL in October 2005 as the most hyped prospects in a generation. First overall picks, a year apart, they delivered from the start.
So they're only a year apart. I thought Ovechkin was a lot older.
And they are still delivering today. Between them, they've won 30 individual awards, with Ovi leading 18-12. Between them, they've been named to 20 postseason All-Star teams, with Ovi leading that count 12-8. Between them, they've won 4 Stanley Cups, with Crosby up 3-1. And between them, they've won 2 Olympic gold medals, both won by Sid. It hasn't always been easy. Crosby, he was criticized early as a complainer on the ice. And
yeah, a lot of people call Crosby a crybaby. Some of the comments that I've had in some of my videos really make me laugh.
And he's battled injuries, but you know what? He went deep into the playoffs early and won a cup in just his 3rd season.
Wow.
Ovechkin was deemed by some to be too flashy. Remember the tinted visor and the yellow laces? And Washington's inability to win it all threatened to tarnish his legacy. It took Ovechkin 10 years to win the cup, and that was after leading some powerhouse Capital teams that flopped in the postseason. But to say the least, these guys have seen their fair share of successes. This is the story of two of the greatest and ongoing concurrent careers.
Great introduction.
In NHL history. World Juniors aside, the rivalry really began in their rookie campaigns, even if it was more of a media-driven construction than anything the players themselves were still.
Who would you take in your team right now, assuming that you support a team that doesn't have either of these two guys? Who would you take at the start of their career? Ovechkin or Crosby? Let me know in the comment section.
Joking.
You can only pick one.
Both made the all-rookie team, with Ovechkin besting Crosby in points, 106-102, on the strength of his first and, so far, 8 50-goal campaigns. Ovi also made the first All-Star team. But Crosby had the opportunity to play alongside Mario Lemieux that season, learning from a superstar what being a superstar was all about, and that's proved important. In 2006-2007, Ovechkin finished 4th in goals with 46, and again made the first All-Star team. But Crosby took a leap forward Ovi couldn't match, scoring 120 points and winning the Art Ross and Hart trophies, the Lester B. Pearson Award. Most importantly, though, he led the Penguins to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and although they lost in 5 games to Ottawa in the first round, a young Pens team got a taste of what it's like when games really matter. The next season, Ovi went off. 112 points, the Rocket Richard, Hart, Art Ross, and Lester B. Pearson trophies. No one had scored more goals in a campaign since Mario 11 years earlier. If he hadn't already, the Great Eight, he had arrived. For Crosby, however, the regular season was something of a bust. Yes, he dominated, barely finishing second in points per game to Ovechkin, but he suited up for just 53 games following a high ankle sprain in January that cost him all but 7 games in the second half. But when he came back...
Who is the more durable out of these two guys? Like, who's had the most injuries?
Boy, did he ever. The next season, 2007-08, Ovechkin's Capitals made the playoffs for the first time, but Crosby's Penguins did him 3 rounds better, getting all the way to the Stanley Cup final before falling to Detroit's stacked, veteran-laden lineup in 6 games. To that point, any rivalry between the two had been more or less limited to their eye-popping play on the ice. If the pair had anything going on behind the scenes, well, it was muted by their back-and-forth statistical feats and the Capitals' relative lack of team success. But that changed some late in February 2009, with Ovechkin en route
the puck play, man.
To another season of mantle ads, second straight Richard, Hart, and Pearson wins, the pair tangled on the ice and in the media.
They fought, man. I'm putting my money on Ovechkin for sure. He's like 2 weight classes above Crosby.
After facing off during the season's dog days. With Crosby ending a shift on February 22nd, Ovi gave him a quick jab to the shoulder. Crosby turned, pushed his rival, and before any words could be exchanged, Ovi grabbed Crosby, and then the two were split up. The pair would make headlines following the game with their comments. "What can I say about him?" Ovechkin said. "He's a good player, but he talks too much."
He talks too much. Nobody ever wants to be, spoken. Like, nobody, you would hate to be said that you talk too much. It's like, they're telling you to keep your mouth shut, It's kind of like patronizing, condescending.
Crosby retorted, "Like it or lump it, that's what he does. Some people like it, some people don't. Personally, I don't like it." A little over 3 months later, in May, the NHL's 2 brightest lights moved their war of words on the ice as they went head-to-head in the playoffs for the first time, and they delivered in spades. Following hard-fought first-round series that saw the number 2 seed Capitals pushed to 7 games by the Rangers, and the 4th-seeded Penguins going 6 against the Flyers, the stage was set for Washington-Pittsburgh in round number 2. Game 1 ended in a 3-2 victory for the Capitals, with Crosby and Ovechkin trading goals in the first period. Game 2 would go down in history as one of the greatest mano-a-mano performances in playoff history.
Would it be worth me, finding the highlights for that series and just reacting to them? Maybe I should.
Another 1-goal game was overshadowed by dueling hat-tricks from the 2 superstars. Crosby opened the scoring in the first. Ovechkin tied it early in the second. Crosby put the Pens ahead again midway through the second frame before the Capitals potted 3 straight goals, 2 by Ovechkin, before the Pittsburgh captain finished off the night scoring in another 1-goal Capitals win with his 3rd of the night. 2 players scoring 6 goals and essentially putting their teams on their backs. With Washington now up 2-0, though, it looked like Ovi had the upper hand. Crosby, he finished the series with 13 points. Ovi did him one better at 14. Those totals were the highest by any player since Theo Fleury's 14 points 14 years earlier. But the Great Eight's frustration would continue. As for Ovechkin and the Caps, it was a lost series. 3 of the next 5 games went to overtime, with the Penguins winning each and every one of them.
Wow.
Those victories helped them storm back to win 4 of the next 5 games to take the series in 7, finishing it off by leading 5-0 midway through the second period, an exclamation mark type victory. Pittsburgh then swept Carolina in the conference final to get a second stab at the Cup in a rematch with Detroit. This time the Pens were too much for the Red Wings, dispatching them in 7 games, led by the 21-year-old Crosby and his running mate, Conn Smythe winner, Evgeny Malkin.
Just look at that, man. Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna resist. No, I'm gonna say it. It's just, man, it's the best looking trophy in sports. It is.
Took 7 seasons after that first playoff matchup for the Penguins and Capitals to face each other again in the playoffs, and then it happened 3 consecutive years. Those series went 6, 7, and 6 games each and provided pivotal to both Crosby and Ovechkin's legacies. The winner of each series went on to capture the Stanley Cup. Pittsburgh in 2016 and 17, Washington in 2018. Pittsburgh became the first back-to-back champion in 19 years, and the sheer explosion of joy around hockey for Ovi and the Capitals finally getting over the hump in 2018, well, it was something that won't soon be forgotten. Now in their mid-30s, Crosby and Ovechkin, they show little signs of slowing down. Since entering the NHL, no player has scored more points than these two, and last season, Ovechkin, he won his 3rd consecutive Rocket Richard Trophy, while Crosby, he finished 13th in points per game despite battling a core injury that cost him 28 contests. While the league is turning over to the next generation of superstars, don't think for a minute that these two will let any player pass them by without a fight. As for their rivalry, safe to say that the fire still burns bright for both. They are ultra competitors after all, but they'll let their play do the talking.
I like that. Great video from Sportsnet. That was just well produced, well articulated. I loved it. It does seem that Crosby probably has the edge in terms of overall effectiveness and maybe leadership as well. Ovechkin seems to be by far, maybe not by far, but the better goal scorer. Whereas, just the all-around package, the ability to deliver when it matters, it does seem that Crosby might have the advantage there. But I'm very new to the game. I am no means a hockey expert. So let me know, guys, what you think. Who is the better of the two? Who would you rather have in your team, at the start of their careers or during their primes? Yeah, let me know, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.